What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on TCG University's podcast for the UniVersus game. My name is Tam. I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Jeff.
My name's UniVersus. I'm James.
I'm Tyler.
What Study Hall is for the unenrolled is we've taken a bunch of your guys' UFS topics, UniVersus topics, and we sit down and we talk about them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. So with that said, before we get into it, a little bit of housekeeping. If you like the channel, if you like the show, please go to, you can support the show by going out and liking the Facebook page at facebook.com/TCG University, subbing the YouTube channel right here at TCG University, and then enrolling in the Patreon at TCGU University. All of them, Patreon, YouTube, Facebook, as well as buying some singles at TCG Player. Thank you for all my Patreon supporters. I've got Andrew Dang, Iori Melcourt, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jerome Weeks Jr., Justin Farce, Tyler Zane Pease, and William Stoll. Big shout outs to our two sponsors for the podcast, Cards Custom Build and Inked Gaming. We will talk about them a little bit later. James.
Me.
Please ask Jeff how his week in UniVersus was.
Jeff, how was your week in UniVersus?
Well,
I mean UFS. I mean UniVersus. Damn.
All right, it's hard, man.
I mean, I didn't mess up. I messed up for the joke.
you messed up on purpose.
For the joke.
Proud of you, man. Jeff, how's your week in UniVersus, man?
Non-existent.
Non-existent? Why so?
We got trapped in Booneville, Missouri.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. We'll talk about that. That is for sure one of the topics.
Insert hashtag Booney Boys picture here.
Yeah. So you just haven't done anything? No research? No.
Tyler.
Not really. I began playing around with some more. I'm still super new to this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
you will be forever. I'm still new.
Right. So I
feel old.
Even though I've had pretty good success with that reptile deck that I took to Omaha, I still want to experiment with a bunch of different characters, a bunch of different symbols. So I've been just messing around with some stuff that I wanted to check out. I was playing Water Reptile, so I wanted to play. I also played a little bit of Water Jackie Briggs with
Airground Smash?
Airground Smash, obviously.
I got that by this.
So I kind of wanted to try it out in some other stuff. I tried a Kuwabara list with Airground Smash and Sword Get Longer and Spirit Sword Thrust. That was kind of cool, but it wasn't exactly what I hoped it would be. And
what were you looking for?
I don't know. It didn't seem as aggressive as I thought it might be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why did you think a 5-hander was going to be aggressive?
Just that, just Airground. Maybe as the experience I had with Jackie, because the Jackie list I was playing was really aggressive.
Or playing against Yoshimitsu.
Yeah, Yoshimitsu.
They give the pseudo aggressive.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and one of the topics that we're going to be on the show of the reason you feel that way is because of the roles of the cards in your decks. And Jackie's just really good at turning not aggressive cards into aggressive cards. She basically says, I'll discard this card to double, if not more, the damage of my attack. I'll turn this shitty card into essentially another attack if you don't block it.
Yeah. And then after that, I've been messing around with some Siegfried, and that's been pretty cool.
Yeah? Are you actually enjoying Siegfried?
Yeah.
Why are you enjoying Siegfried? You were looking for an aggressive deck, and you said
that's very interesting, right?
Siegfried's awesome.
I really like the fact that you just don't necessarily lose any resources.
Yeah, for sure. Just not feel bad holding blocks, asterisks.
Right. I mean, I know, seriously though, I would build maybe 1.5 turns, and then I'd be totally fine. Okay, I just build on your attacks.
Yeah,
totally how this can work.
So as long as you're drawing a mixed hand, you just attack, pass, build.
Yeah.
Draw 6, tack, build. Yeah, that's okay. It's just it's the mentality of and the cadence of the deck. That's neat. James, how about you? How's your week?
I've been beating ass.
Yeah,
with the deck I'm going to take to the Indiana PTC.
Are you going to Indiana?
We'll see.
Asterisk, yeah. Yes, asterisk.
Yes.
The softest yes I've ever heard.
Definitely.
I forgot to
Possibly.
put in for it at work again.
Same.
Come on, guys.
We got it like a week.
Yeah, but your rando deck was going undefeated for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then I went undefeated versus your rando.
100%. Yeah, since you brought it up, I've been playing Rando, and the deck's... I think the deck's fine. Like, I think the deck is actually very, very good, and I think playing Rando, not the way that I'm wanting to play Rando, is probably the best, honestly. I think if you take out, and we'll talk about this, take out some game plan cards, put in a couple more defense cards, I think the deck's been really good. But I still think the deck might just lose to another topic we're going to talk about, which is a Spirit Gun and Turgar Brothers. I think the deck just might lose to that. And so, whoops.
I've just been beating ass.
With
Teisei.
Yeah, you're back on the Teisei train. Do you think this deck's actually going to win the PTC this time?
Man, I hope so.
It feels real smooth. I think you should fight something that's not Rando.
Yeah.
Not Rando.
I mean, I played Goro.
Not Goro.
Not Goro.
And like
Something that'll like do something against you past on turn 1.
I gotta say, man,
his deck just goes off at one point,
Sure.
and I just go, eh.
I think like your deck, genuinely, if you get that, if you are a 7-hander or 8-hander 2 turns in a row, I think you are such a shoo-in to win. Like, it's so insane.
I think it was like, I think right now it's 100% win rate if I start my turn as an 8-hander, and it's like 80 to 85 as a 5-hander.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, if I start my turn as a 5-hander, there's an 85% chance I win.
Against what you faced so far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
But, like, I have not lost as an 8-hander ever.
That's very interesting. I think I know a deck that would just destroy that.
What deck's that?
My reptile deck.
Dude, you want to go after this?
I'd have to rebuild it, but
I need to play something else that isn't random.
2 main decked brutalities gets through your first form.
You're through your less life, it becomes unblockable against idiot.
Happens. I can't do anything about it.
and then easy
We
peasy.
already knew that
easy
existed.
peasy after that, dude.
It's just so he's just like
Fatality Bait
fucking,
actually
let's go.
kills me.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I can't do anything about it. The combo still exists.
That's so funny.
It's not like that left the game. That's something we've been worried about since I started playing Taste.
Yeah, it's just
when
like
it came out.
nobody here locally has played Brutality in a deck, and the fact that you're just like, I'm down. Let's do it. we'll rip through that every time that
Hopefully he draws it. Like, I mean,
every time you play that deck, I just see the extra Teiseis is just coins on the
one more time. Let's play again.
right on the coins on the arcade machine to play the beat 'em up. Right?
He hit me. Let's do it
so
again.
one more life.
Do you want to continue?
Yes. eight more life, please. Tyler, how about you, man?
Also, that deck drops
guess
all
I'm
6
good.
of my characters on the field in turn 2.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I've given in. I'm going to play Go for the rest of my life.
The rest of your life,
Yeah.
you've
Until
just.
I
I mean, I was about to
I
say,
only
it's
play
like-
Go at 2 dot.
It's such an interesting call because of how the current meta is that you just want to play Goro.
Well,
No, he wants to play
I've
Goro.
I've always wanted to play Goro,
Mm-hmm.
but I've just like not.
Because
There's like a 5% reason because
go on.
I
This is
always
such a
played. I
dumb
played Goro
Such a dumb reason.
forever, and the second the new Goro came out, it was like, "Hey Tyler, are you really excited for this new Goro that you're gonna play for the rest of your life?" It's like, I mean, I didn't play Goro because his name was Goro. I played him because he was cool and he was given to me. But now, yeah,
Hey, I
This is
gave
also
you
a
that
big
character.
beefy boy.
Tyler,
Yeah.
I gave you that character and it won you a PTC. Stop
Hell
complaining.
yeah.
Sure.
Hell yeah. Let's fucking win
Right.
another one.
right.
Let's go in Indianapolis.
I'll
or
give you
whatever.
my Goro and you can win another PTC.
Yeah,
Tyler.
absolutely.
I
And then-
actually want to do some experimenting with Goro. If you're gonna play it for the rest of your life, I don't think it should be some basic bitch. I think we should.
So-
should mix it up a bit.
At this point, I think Goro has cemented itself as like he'll just always be good in
Oh, yeah.
some capacity.
Yeah, in some capacity.
Like-
I think you are fighting the hardest meta to play Goro at the moment.
At
Right.
the moment, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
This will either, I don't know, it might get worse because Earth is getting a big boost and Earth will just get better.
I mean, we just revealed, we got to reveal this, but the multiple X
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
face downs.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Opponent's face downs.
Yeah, so,
So, like,
your opponent plays that card.
I mean,
and they have free.
people
yeah,
are going to be
free
playing
multiple.
Earth, and I'm going to have all my foundations flipped.
Yep.
So I'll have to figure out how to deal with that.
Police connections.
But
flip a
if
card.
I can
anyways.
get past this meta, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah,
And
totally.
We just continually build the best Goro deck, and then I become the best Goro player. Because
And then at some point you'll become
I
the-
can't get away from it. And then
And at some point you'll become the only Goro player.
Just triple down on what you know.
yeah,
Triple down.
yeah.
So that means play Cannonades.
Yeah, straight up. Like, I think we should totally try fire and all. I think we should try all. Like, there's no reason for
I
us
really want
not.
to play all weapons, all weapon Goro.
Well,
I like
let's
it.
slow our
I
roll
like-
a little bit.
I like
Hey,
Face
oh,
I mean, we did
Everything.
talk about how cool Face Splitter and playing Guilty Throne and Goro
yeah,
would
yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My issue is you're just gonna still lose to Spirit Gun and to Goro Brothers.
Yeah.
Like, those two cards
And
are just
I
still
don't think
gonna.
there's anything in all that protects
We
you.
can figure that out.
I think
Wow,
Earth is the
Guilty
best
Throne
for
seems really
that.
free in Goro, dude.
Super free.
That was
It's
why we
super
talked
free.
about it.
Yeah.
The issue is like you have to draw very well to do it.
You have to be able to like build out your foundations and then not die. Yeah. So things like Cormorant's really good, but like, why would you play that not under Earth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, what other cool defensive blocks can you play from your staging area? Like the Elk's Shield, which is super good under Earth and not all.
You can play not Kanzuki Dojo, but Dedicated Teacher.
Yep, you can play Dedicated Teacher.
And then
I think
all
it's
your
got
block-
a high block or some shit.
Yeah, it has a 2 high.
Yeah, that
and then all your
sucks.
block mods get -2 for the rest of the turn.
Yeah.
Because, as a four-hander, you need to be able to block
You're gonna play
more than
Nutcracker.
that one time.
Yeah.
Which is a 12 damage draw 1. So that has Breaker 2 on it.
And you get to play from science with love, and all these assets, I guess.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Fucking pick up all these
At that
fucking
point, why not
assets.
just build an Earth deck
Wait,
that
are we
flips your
just switching to
opponent's
Earth
entire
now?
staging area
I mean, maybe
and play all those
that does sound fun.
So the first thing that I want to talk about is nationals. We didn't get a chance to go.
Nope.
Not for lack of trying.
Not for lack of trying. So I was just listening to the Guile treatment. They talked about their nationals experience. Neither of those gentlemen also went. Big shout outs to Chris and Rob. Thank you. We are indeed safe. The deer did not demolish us, just hurt pocketbooks.
Yes.
Severely.
They demolished my morale.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Apparently, if U5 would have shown up, it would have bumped it to 9 rounds and possibly a 36 cut.
Damn.
32?
32.
Damn.
Right. Yep.
Sounds sick as
Doesn't it?
Fuck!
Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Damn it.
Yeah.
Tyler got to edit that
That's very-
tails thing. That's really upsetting because
That
that
is
sounds
very-
so fucking
why'd you-
cool.
So
Man.
here's the
Man, actually, so what you're saying is maybe if Rob and Chris decide to show up, maybe then we get the 32.
No. Well, so like they weren't going, and we oh man, you guys were going. No, but I want to talk about nationals a little bit. If you want to hear, and they said it themselves, a very dour podcast, go listen to the Guile treatment. They're very, very scrutinous of this event, and I 80% agree with everything they said. There was absolutely no coverage. I had no idea who was in tops. We had no stream. We had like all of these things at the second largest event that's ever happened in JASCO history. There's like for every single small detail, go out and look at their podcast. But
Yeah, like I got most of my information from like fam.
yeah, I mean, you had to text
I
him
had
directly.
to message fam.
Yeah.
I was just like, what's going on? How are the people I know what they're there doing?
Yeah.
What's tops look like?
Which is not something that the 100 extra people who couldn't have been there is allowed to do. Or else fam's not allowed to do his job. You probably shouldn't have been texting him. He was doing a job.
Yeah.
And so, obviously something has to change. But my question is, I can't sneak into Jason Haransky's room in Vegas at 469 Hollywood Drive.
It's not his number.
That's not his address. That'd have been pretty sick, though, right? Oh no! And go shake him awake like Batman and be like, "Make your PTCs and nationals better." I can't do that. What I can do is like,
we do the same concept.
yes, except
we use Inception style.
yeah, right.
we go into his dreams.
Yeah, make it his idea. Hey, maybe I should have a stream so that the other, fucking people who couldn't be there support my game. Wouldn't that be nuts? It's not like
Maybe I should give out more product.
It's-
to encourage people to show up more.
yeah. Maybe it shouldn't be the
'Cause, like-
maybe it shouldn't be the PTC promos that people travel all year for, right? Because I'm sure if they traveled all year and played at least 4 rounds, they got at least a play set of it, right?
Like, one of the
and
things
what's
I
the
saw-
point of fucking going to PTCs if we
just
get
go to
this if we go to majors? What's the fucking point?
One of the things I saw was Kevin Brober brought up a good point of mostly everybody that's going is already paying hundreds of dollars to be able to like show up to this event. What's like 50 more to put a price tag on the event and get actual price support?
Look at this fucking topic I wrote down. Should we pay for nationals? So
I already knew that was coming. I was doing a segue.
Oh,
for
thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
saw you. I saw you. I saw
Thank
you
you.
put it in the chat.
So when you look at other games, we see the fact that they always have a stream. There's always internet connection. There's always updates. And honestly, like the prize support, the place, the venue, it's always really fucking awesome. Like it's really, really rad. And if Jasco wants to be taken seriously, they have to increase what it is that they're doing. A lot of games, when they go to a major, it's invite only.
Yeah.
You have to go and top at an event in order to go play.
I think we talked about it one time. What it would be like if you only the top 8 got in.
Yeah,
Not even diversified.
Whatever.
You have to like get that solid 8.
Man, that sounds rough. But yeah.
Yeah, but like I mean, if we count it, this national, like if this national is counted towards worlds, 20 people got an auto invite counting because of diversity. 21, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I was
Yeah, that's fine.
21. 5 diverse. I just mean that's a lot.
And at the same time, like Mark Tyner won this event. He also won 2 PTCs this year. That's 2 more slots not going to Worlds, which means that like it's not supporting the game. But what I'm saying is as opposed to being invite only because our game is so unbelievably small, 100%
And we
major,
do diversity.
right?
Do.
What if hilarious? Wow,
Comedy
wow.
genius.
I'm the greatest.
This is no longer an educational podcast. It's now a comedy podcast. How would you
Wait,
feel?
what?
How would you feel about making people pay a price in order to get more product and like?
I'd be perfectly fine with it. PTCs are already $25.
Okay.
PTCs are $25 for what they hand out now.
What do you think?
My thing is like, is that the problem? Is it that they're not bringing in enough money? Because from what I've heard, I have no experience with any of this, but from what I've heard, this is the blip in the years of majors that they've had.
Yeah.
So
So here's the thing of like, we've had some majors. Last nationals, there was 2 streams, one of which was commentated. Why wasn't that there this year? There were
not nationals.
Yeah, it for sure
It was
was.
nationals.
It was nationals.
It was
We
never.
we had the
No, it was Worlds.
we had.
Nope. The
Go ahead.
nationals that was
Go ahead.
commentated by church.
Yeah,
and
that's
Okay. I
commentary.
guess I
That's
remember.
commentary.
But I mean, the mainstream wasn't.
It's color commentary for sure,
Yeah.
but it's commentary.
Worlds
we had
definitely,
Luke Butler manning the Rochester CCG stream, updating life totals in real time, looking up cards. We had Worlds where we had a stream the year that you got second. What the fuck happened this past
commentators.
year? It's like, and I'm gonna say it. I know what happened. Mohawk Mike left. And so the person who was inside the esports is not doing their job. We've recently gotten Tim Friedlieben. Big shout outs to Tim.
Yep. I don't think that's his job.
He's a social media guy. It should be his job. He's the social media guy.
Solid.
All of these write-ups that you see for all the spoilers, all the like lore and background, that's all Tim. Big, huge shout-outs, Tim. You're doing such a good job. But that's his responsibility. Honestly, you should send Tim and Ryan to every PTC. You should send them both, and Tim be the social media guy, and Ryan take care of the players.
Yep.
Do you agree? You can say no. Say no.
Yes, I agree.
That's what I
Or
fucking thought.
asterisks.
Move on.
If I didn't know how much work Ryan already did for the company, I just don't want him to do
Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I
Ryan's
said?
doing the same amount
Ryan's
of work.
doing less work.
Is he?
Yeah.
Huh.
Ryan's gonna not have to do any social media posting at all in between rounds. It's all gonna be Tim's job.
Right.
What I'm
Ryan
saying
just
is you
focuses
send
on the
Ryan and Tim to every PTC. When we go to this upcoming PTC, Ryan packs his bag and he's got his big, thick book of rulings, and Tim has a big, thick bag full of streaming equipment with cameras and mics and a computer. And you send both of them off together, one to run the tournament and one to be the social guy. Ryan doesn't have to touch a computer except for, here's my pairings. That's it. I think if you want to fix this issue, you have somebody who actually cares.
Yeah.
And Tim very much cares.
Like the two
he yelled at
things-
me for dropping the preview 2 hours early.
Idiot.
How'd you drop it to? Like,
We'll talk off camera.
Okay.
We'll talk
All right.
off camera.
So like the two things the game needs is
Sorry, buddy.
More of like a not public support because that's not the word I want. Is it needs visible support, streams, updates, stuff like that. Social media support. That's what it needs, and it needs player satisfaction.
What the fuck are you saying? Satisfaction?
Sure,
All right.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. I'm the one drinking, man,
Hey,
not you.
I've been up since 8. I'm tired.
What do you think? Like, as a new player into the game, you were on your way to this event, and then you knew nothing about it.
Right. I actually was reading a thread on Facebook about this. I'm sorry, I can't shout out who wrote it because I don't remember.
Probably Anthony Hall.
Yeah, that might be it.
Big long post saying,
Yeah.
don't mean to be sad. Yeah. Big shout out to Anthony. That was a beautifully crafted post. Really, really good.
Yeah, I read all of that, a bunch of the updates, and the one thing that like I saw, so I didn't know that they lost their old person running the streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mohawk Mike.
that's definitely has to be a part of the reason. And then
He was only there for a short while.
Bit
but,
of
like,
lineage on Mohawk Mike is he was an FGC guy, and then the Jaska crew went to Evo, and then they convinced him, hey, come work with us and make us really good. And then he got another job offer back at the FGC in like a really sick position. And so he's like, I have to take this. This is my passion, my love. And Jaska was like, I guess we're really, really going to miss you. And nobody's really stepped up and pushed into that. Luke was doing a little bit of a job doing it, but Luke also had 1,000 things on his plate.
yeah, so that definitely has to be a part of it. And then I saw another good point in that thread. Could this be a thing that's getting left behind in all of this push for UniVersus?
Man, that is some very the sky is falling mentality, which sucks. Like if that's true, you should have just launched UniVersus.
Yeah.
Because man, I'm really trying not to be negative on the podcast because there's so much negativity happening around, and it's so easy to have the skies falling. What my hope is, my dream is, my optimistic plan is that all of these things are going to be fixed January 1st, that they just weren't able to implement them, or the people. So they had and obviously we all weren't there, but I was listening to their Christmas podcast, the Gow Treatment. You go check them out.
Once again.
Rockford CCG. That they have an operations team now who, this is opinionated, weren't entirely friendly, that weren't engaged, were kind of not doing the best of a job when it came to making sure that the players were as comfortable as possible. Obviously, that is. I heard this from somebody who wasn't there, and he heard it from somebody who was there. So this is very third-hand news. So please, all my audience members out there, as I hear you typing in the comments, thank you. It gets me more views. As well as I wasn't there. I'm hearing rumors and speculation. We're talking about it. We have a team. Why is it not happening? It takes 2 seconds to make a Facebook post. They did that super sick graph of the character breakdown. And then what? Nothing. We didn't get any rounds after that.
We got pictures at the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah.
Of everybody sitting in their seats playing some games.
I want to know who's in C1. Make them shake hands. Like one of my and this is, if I went to 1497 Hollywood Boulevard, and I choked Jason
And that number
Hronsky to
keeps
death.
Changing.
And
Jason's catching on fast. He's got to keep moving.
wore his skin and owned Jasco, Tamsco. One of the things that I did whenever, do you remember the PTC that you won, San Antonio, I think? The top 8 picture that we did for that was we all were sitting at the same table and we were all shaking each other's hands.
Yeah.
That's such a good fucking picture. That's such a good picture. There's your top 8. That shows sportsmanship. We're all wearing having different mats. We're all having different characters. We're all smiling at the camera. We're all glaring at each other. Like, we had the top 8 picture, but like, I want to see stuff happening. Everybody, it's easy to get 8 streaming equipments whenever you're a big company. Make it happen. Fuck, even just 4. Honestly, just give me.
I'm fine with 1.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Why are these PTCs like? I understand Legendary Wolf. They're a big store. They have the ability to do it. There are smaller PTCs with smaller stores that are able to have the stream. Jasco is a company.
That is a beautiful segue, because this is the topic that I actually wanted to talk about. What can we do as community members in order to help Jasco get there? What can we do?
Show up and stream.
Honestly, yeah. Like, is there anything else that we as community members can do? Like, is it possible?
I mean, it is that we show up and stream. Like, beyond like that's it. We just do the job for them. Like, I think that's the answer. If they won't do it or can't do it, then we should.
Like, to the point where, should stores not necessarily like would it be out of the question for me to go to this Indianapolis PTC and commentate all day? Like, be on site commentating matches going on?
No.
Is that crazy?
I could message the store and see what they think.
Like, because
we have the equipment to do
as
all this.
much as I really, really want to go play this PTC, if the community needs me to go and be an on-site commentator for the entire day, I will go do that. I do not mind. You set me up in a small back room, and I will put on some headphones with a microphone, and I will whisper into a mic and ASMR why Jetta's not a fair character.
We can probably do it just like even in an open space.
But is there anything else that we can do besides just streaming?
We can try
Jeff,
to do
what do you think? As somebody who's new, if like this really matters to you, what would you suggest somebody doing?
So let's see. From a coverage standpoint, what I've been thinking about for a little bit now is there's a man, I cannot remember what it's called. But Yu-Gi-Oh has a extremely well built coverage website.
Yu-Gi organization, Yu-Gi org, is that what it's called?
No, it's produced by Konami.
I'll see if I can look it up. You keep talking.
And they'll have the problem I was running into is that this might be a little harder for this game, but they have instead of this was also, I think, just a little bit before streaming, but they'd have feature matches, so they'd have somebody sitting watching that match, and they'd type out what happened in the match.
Konami blog or Yu-Gi-Oh blog.konami.com.
That sounds pretty. Yeah, that looks. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Yep. And then they have these previews come up on this website too. They have just event coverage.
So maybe
deck spreads.
Maybe you hire as Jasco, if they're not willing to do the job. Maybe you hire a content creator. You talk to Chris Smith. You talk to Sean O'Brien.
Yeah.
You talk to Tamron Cardwell, who would absolutely love to.
Technically, you would talk to me, but
You talk to James Stevens. You talk to my people. Yeah.
No, Tam's my people.
I think that website's really well done, and I think it'd be really easy to copy it.
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing with, I know personally us as TCGU writing stuff is we don't have a website per se. We have Patreon, and that's truly it. Like it's and distributing from Patreon to non-patrons is really difficult. There's no really cute thumbnails. Like when you look at a Christmas Rockford CCG or Meta Maniacs, which have recently just gotten into the game. Big shout out to you guys as well. Their coverage is way better just because they have a website, and because of my full-time job and all the video content that we're making, I cannot upkeep a website. I cannot do that, and so it just is another thing that just gets by the wayside. So you think being able to like have a centralized place to post things that's not Facebook would be helpful?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like the issue is like we have to do it.
Right.
I think it would just be like I think it would be the best way they could do it is if they trashed the entirety of the Jasco forums and rebooted it up from scratch.
The whole thing?
Yep.
There's a lot of legacy in there.
There is. The problem is they have to attach that entire thing into what they're already using for their website, which basically just takes you to another entire website anyways. It would just be easier to just trash it all and start on your own website.
Is it possible that that's what they're doing with their website updates? I haven't looked into
I have not
Jasco.
looked in a while either.
Okay. So let us know if we're wrong in the comments down below.
Definitely do. But like as far as I knew, like when they first like originally started doing like all these quick updates and whatnot, it was just like they wanted to keep the original forum but still update the web pages itself. And by the way, it looked was if you went to the forums, instead of being a forum on the website, it just took you to the original Jasco forums.
That's fair. That's fair.
So like, I'll check right now, but like,
as you're doing that, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. You want to read this on the podcast right now?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So our first sponsor is Card Custom Build. This is my dad. If you take and you look at all of the majors
Dad.
that all of the majors that I've gone to, I've gone to. Every major I've gone to, besides my very first nationals, I guess, when I ran Nightman, I cosplayed as the character that would have been a cool cosplay. Not sitting down all day. I cosplayed as the character that I went as, and those costumes are all thanks to Cards Custom Build. My dad is a massive costumer. He loves dressing up and dressing other people up in order to go do community stuff. He goes to a bunch of conventions, and Halloween is pretty much going to be over by the time that you see this, but you can start preparing for your next Halloween costume. Maybe there's something really sick. If you take and you go to Cards Custom Build on Facebook and you message the site and you mention the fact that you heard it from our podcast, TCGU University, you will get 5% off your total order. And the costumes that he makes are incredible. He's got like Iron Man. He made a life-size Han Solo and Carbonite, like full. He works with the 501st all the time. He does so many he does so much amazing work in a really, really fast time. I one time asked him, I'll get you a picture. I one time asked him to make me a baby Groot costume from the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I gave him 2 days to make it, and he had half of it done in 6 hours. And that costume's so good. It's so good. There'll be a picture of it on the screen. I'll get it for you.
Do you have any idea how much one of these costumes might cost?
So they can be fairly pricey. I think if it's like a regular cloth costume, it's like $70. But I mean, it's all handmade. It's all hand sewn. He's got like a CNC. He's got two CNC machine, or sorry, he's got two 3D printers in his house. He's got a CNC machine that takes up half of his garage, as well as like a laser cutter, This mask was made from foam. You can actually see it on the backside. It's made from a soft foam, and he hand cut and carved this whole thing by himself and covered it in like a hard plastic coating, and that was my Vega costume. The claw on that costume is all 3D printed. It's really, really rad stuff, and you definitely should go check it out. Cards Custom Build. Let them mention the fact that we're here, as well as our other sponsor, Inked Gaming. If you're looking for a one-stop shop for gaming accessories, I suggest heading over to inkedgaming.com. Inked Gaming features both custom and store art playmats. Julia, my girlfriend, she actually, the two mats that she got, she got them from Inked Gaming.
Do you want me to go see if I can pull it out of the closet if it's still there?
I don't think they're there.
I know one is in their room.
Yeah, I know one's in my room, but they are fully customizable mats. You can get them with an embroidered edge, which was the sickest part. They've got dice
and
bags.
It's not like a thick embroider too. Like
it's like a really
it's like a nice, just thin but still good.
Yeah, it's so they were good enough that I was able to get my mat signed by a bunch of internet personalities, and like the quality's super nice. The marker hasn't faded at all. The print itself is super good. They've got playmats, dice bags, gaming mouse pads, and like tons more. If you go to inkedgaming.com and decide to get anything, use the code TCG University at checkout to support us and get a discount on your order.
All caps.
one word, all caps.
Yeah.
TCG University.
No spaces?
No spaces.
No spaces.
All capitalized.
So I want to take a hard right turn. I think the thing
that
No,
would
that
be
was
a
a left turn.
not to them.
Camera
The
right.
thing
Nerd.
the thing about I know what's going on. This is my first fucking podcast. The thing about this
They're not gonna think it's the left because we mentioned
fixing the thing about fixing the tournament major scene is, as much as we want to do stuff, it is truly on Jasco.
Yep.
So
it. We can only do so much.
January 1st, I want this to never be an issue again. As Chris Smith said, just be better. That's all we want. We love you. We love the game. Be better.
I'm sure they're working on it.
I had a breakthrough.
I'm sure.
There was I heard a quote by Dan Avidan that went along the lines of, you don't get inspired and do work, you do work, and that brings inspiration. And so I was just doing work. I was just like making this shit happen. And I ended up coming along an idea of, what are your cards' roles inside of your deck? And what are different categories that you have for your cards? I've come up with 5 categories on my own, 4 and then an asterisk one. And I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are when it comes to how you categorize the cards in your deck and how you see the cards that you put in. Do you see them as just numbers, or do you see them as like fitting a specific spot inside your deck? I don't want to keep talking, so I'm just going to toss it over to Tyler. Tyler,
All right. Yes.
what do you, whenever you're building a deck, any deck, whether it be the most competitive, amazing deck, you're gonna go win nationals unless you hit a deer on the way there,
Right.
or it is a casual popper full of commons and garbage deck. How do you make the decisions? What are the roles of cards that you have?
A lot of the time, it's the attacks are all my aggression, are my offense, and then the foundations are what the defense is.
Okay.
Like that's exclusive. I do my attacks, and then I say, well, these are all the cards that under this symbol that are really good, that help me a little bit with defense, and maybe help me a little bit with what my game plan is, whatever it is, and I throw that all in.
Okay.
Like that's
And you just like, the card text on this card is good. We'll just play it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like there's not a lot of thought past that, unless it's like I want to do a specific thing, then I will lean more towards that specific thing, but then still have like, well, I'll always have a refusing Lego in a deck
Yeah.
because it's just really good. Like that's just one spot that's there.
Okay. Okay. Jeff, how about you, man? You're the newest
Oh,
player.
dude. Actually, you saying that just man, hey, if you guys didn't know, I came from Yu-Gi-Oh. So in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's this thing called staples.
Yeah.
Staples.
Staples go in everything. I know that's a little different for UFS, but
Why?
just because with the
I can
symbols.
name a few staples right now.
No, I totally think that there are definitely
just because how
staples,
the-
but
everything,
because the literal definition of staple is like, this will be in any deck you see
Staple it in
anywhere. But with symbols, you can't.
Always do that, yeah.
You know,
You
refusing to let go only goes into
Plays
3
3.
symbols. So
it becomes you can expect it to be in one of these decks maybe because
It's a
that
staple in
character
those
has
3 symbols.
One of
Right.
those 3 symbols.
So I think that's definitely a good rule. Yeah, as far as like how I do my decks though, I don't really like. I'm still pretty new at deck building as well, so I don't really like think of it as in roles yet.
Okay.
I think that I may be there with like attacks though. Like I think that maybe it's because I was playing like I've been playing such like combo heavy decks.
You do gravitate towards very aggressive decks. I think the first deck you ever played was a very silly Morrigan deck. That's the first deck. You remember that Morrigan Nutcracker deck that you made? That was the first deck that Jeff played, and he went, "I'm in love."
So.
And that was Morgan.
So like with attacks, I'm definitely there. Like, oh, you have to start with this one because like usually, like I said, it usually doesn't have combo. The next attack will have combo.
Yeah.
So,
James, how about you, man?
I put my things into a lot of different categories.
I'd love to hear them.
because I view things a lot differently than your list because we talked about this last night too.
Yeah, and then let me talk about my list real fast.
Okay.
I'll interrupt you because you're gonna expand
I
it.
have,
So
I have a lot more. Yeah.
the 4 categories that I have, the 4 asterisk
said
categories
5.
I have,
I said you had 5.
yeah, are
Wow.
aggressive, defensive, game plan, and disruption. Aggressive cards kill you. Defensive cards keep you alive. Game plan cards get you there. Make your aggression happen, and then your disruption plan stops your opponent's game plan. So you can look at it like a Punnett square of like aggression fights defense, and then game plan fights disruption. A good example of a game plan card is Fatality. Fatality is very much a game plan card. I'm going to take this resource and I'm going to turn it into another resource. This momentum that I just gained is going to let me multiple 1 you, which is an aggressive play. And then the 5th category that I had was mixed, because not every UniVersus card is cut and dry. When you look at something like Overly Dramatic, that is not necessarily a defensive card. Whenever you hit 11 foundations, that becomes an aggressive card. But at the same time, if you have to use that Deadlock Enhance in order to lift an attack, to lift that Nutcracker and block with it to Breaker 2, that's defense and disruption, because I'm mixing up your game plan because of the Breaker keyword. So like using aggression defense game plan and disruption, you can categorize your cards and see how your deck is leaning. What is it trying to do? Is the reason my deck keeps losing because it's nothing but game plan cards? I'm doing all the cool shit that I want to do. It's just not killing you. Is my deck not killing you and not doing anything? Man, my deck's so boring. My Stoneman deck is so boring. I build 3 and pass. Well, that's because 85% of your cards are just defensive. Not only is your character defensive, the other foundations you're playing are not doing anything. And so this is just a way that you can categorize of like, what's this card's job inside of my deck? Thoughts? How do you like?
So like I think so like yours is a little more basic, and I think it's like mix can be expanded so much more, because like if you think of things just as those, you're gonna think of them as those 4, and then anything where you can't make a decision, you throw in mixed. I think it would be better to look at things in a more broader view of like what cards can do, and look at where your deck's weakest. Is your deck weakest at adapting to situations? Is it weak on the...
Which would be like game plan, right?
Yeah, which would be game plan mixed with like defense. But like...
Well, if I have to adapt to kill you, that's not defense. If I'm getting breakered...
Well, yeah,
I have to adapt to that.
But I don't think it's just adapts. I don't think adapts just game plan. I think adapts like its own category. Like your game plan is doing stuff.
Can you give me an example of what an adaption card is?
And what an adaption card is, just are cards that you can use to change a situation.
Sure, like give me a proper noun. What is the name of a card?
Overly Dramatic.
Okay, Overly
The
Dramatic.
Deadlock E gives you the ability to adapt to a different situation. If they're gonna have Breaker, pick something up at the lower difficulty.
Okay.
You're just using cards in odd ways to do something else.
And so you want to fill your deck. I don't want
to fill it.
Fill
But I
is
want
the
to
bad
know,
word.
I want to know the information of where my deck's weakest.
Where it's flexible.
Where it's flexible, where it doesn't bend, stuff like that. Like
so,
like one of the things we talked about was like on my list I would add
draw power.
Draw power, yeah. I would add draw power to that list because I think draw power is a very good knowledge to know about your deck. Can your deck draw a bunch of cards? Can your deck get a bunch of hand advantage. Because we were talking about like the strength of just +1. What's the strength of +2? Punch and Judy's a +7.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the strength of those things inside of a 5-hander, a 4-hander, a 6-hander, a 7-hander, an 8-hander?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the advantage of that draw power? Like, the +2 you get off of Eat This or whatever.
Passing the torch.
Passing the torch. I'd never remember the name because we just say Eat This. Eat it. What's the strength of that +2 compared to the +1? Like, if you are,
It's actually worse, I think.
like what's
The draw 2 is significantly worse than the draw 1.
just because you don't get to do it again?
No, the draw 2 says that you are now limited to only 2 resources, as opposed to I played a card and then with 5 cards in my hand, commit 1, draw 1. I've got 6 resources.
What?
You only get to draw 2 off of that card when you don't have a hand.
Yeah.
Which then says that.
But you also can play it differently. That to me would also be a variety card.
How do you play it? How do you play it differently?
Well, like, you get to play it in 2 different ways, but I mean, like, you can play it defensively if I want to draw more defensive things to not play these attacks in my hand as blocks. Or I can draw it as I want to draw more attacks. Versus I'm going to play out my entire hand and draw these 2 as defensive cards, or I'm going to play out my entire hand and try to draw more things for offense. Like, there's more variety to playing it than just A and B.
That certainly seems.
Because mine's not just about like knowing where like the deck's basics are. I want to know what it can do. Like where's my limit? Like what do I lose to?
I would absolutely love to see you sit down, like honestly, and record a video explaining what it is that you're talking about. Because it's not the fact that I'm not following. It's
Insert
the
shit James
No, no, no,
said.
no, no.
Here. I might be able to clear this up.
Okay.
Okay. So what would you class reduction as?
Reduction. Reduction is a game plan card and a defensive card. That's it.
Okay. Not aggressive?
It's not aggressive because it doesn't kill anybody. It doesn't kill anybody. The game plan is to make my other attacks kill people.
It's aggressive, but that's
It's not.
I think it's aggressive as well.
It's not an aggressive card because yes, it gives 2/2, but I would count Missile Launcher as an aggressive card because I can draw a hand of 5 gray cards and a Missile Launcher.
What would you
and
call
kill
ridding the outworld? What's ridding the outworld?
What's that card?
Commit for +2/2 to the next one. Flip for +1/+1.
So
Is that game plan, or to me that would be aggro?
that's
the same thing reduction does.
Ooh, okay.
It's one resource for 2/2.
Hold on.
Are we looking at it in a bubble, or are we looking at it as a whole?
We're just looking at it.
So
What's your first impression?
that's a good question as well. I guess by that definition, you would have to say that card is aggressive because it's a foundation, right? As the fact that the other card is an attack, like
so-
the. Well, there are two.
I also find Fatality to be an aggro card.
That's
because
not-
the way
that's
you
not
play it
true.
is an aggro.
Well, that's not true
You
at all.
play it aggressive.
No, you tell Aswell that that's an aggro card. Then
Yeah, you change the character. It changes that. We talked about this last night.
Right. That's
the way you play cards. Is that what you're
Yeah,
going
that's another thing.
I don't yell at me. Explain it to the people.
That's
We
another
talked
thing.
about it last night, where like
And
the
they-
way
they
you
didn't.
attempt to play. I'm saying it right now. Let me finish. The way we play cards
I
determines
was trying to
the
get to him. I'm sorry, they were there.
the way we play cards determines what category we put those cards in.
100%.
Because like there's time I had this conversation we were talking about last night. Like I said, for like the 7th time.
The 8th time. Yep.
Wait, when were you talking about it?
Last night when we went to
Oh,
Runza.
okay.
I fully believe in most decks that Out of Your League is an aggressive card.
Ooh.
Because there's never a moment where you want to counter a response on defense unless it's killing you. You always want to save an Out of Your League so you can counter a response that lets you kill your opponent. Unless that response matters so much defensively, I've never really wanted to play an Out of Your League on defense.
And this is where and obviously the word mixed is
A thing, yeah.
a thing, right? But like the fact that reduction, so the reason I'm gonna go back and defend reduction,
Sure.
right? The reason reduction is a game plan card is because reduction by itself can't kill you. Reduction sets you up to kill you, and that's its job as an attack. As an attack card, its job is to set up. Its job is a jab, whereas the foundation, a game plan foundation would be the would be Forward. Forward's a game plan card of it's going to make my next card easier to play. Whether it's a block or an attack, or I need a stun hate or whatever. So that card's it's going to make my next thing a little better. For the same way that you could say that Most Powerful Assassin is a game plan card, a game plan defensive card.
I would actually just say defense. I don't think it's a game plan card, but that's just me.
The game plan's the form.
Okay.
Yep.
So like the way I see it is reduction is a nair. If you throw out nair repeatedly, it's an aggressive play.
Don't use that term.
That's what I'm just trying to explain it.
Sure.
Like if you threw out,
what's a nair?
He understands what
so
you're saying.
so nair is actually like a hair removal product. Why does that have to do with anything, James?
fuck you.
So go ahead, explain the Super Smash Brothers term nair for neutral air. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. What I'm saying is, if you threw out a move repeatedly, is it an aggressive play or is it a game plan?
So it depends on how you're using the move. Reduction can't kill people.
So,
Reduction doesn't kill anybody.
but if it leads into a combo,
Sure, that means it was part of your game plan. The combo was the aggressive play.
I think playing the attack is the aggressive play.
Then every attack is aggressive. There's no
Yes.
point to have this conversation.
That's the idea behind attack. You don't play attacks defensively.
I very much play attacks defensively. Talk to Skull Barrier, idiot.
Skull Barrier is an aggressive play, in my opinion.
Aggressive. Skull Barrier's not aggressive at all.
Skull Barrier says, "I block and attack you on your turn."
Yeah, for
that is an that is an
whole
aggressive
damage.
play.
I can play
three
Skull
whole
Barrier
damage.
That's
really
an
aggressively.
aggressive
So
play.
So the reason that I'm bringing this whole thing up, right, and before we start yelling about hair care products, is I want to be able to look down. My rando deck is having an issue, and in my brain, I'm trying to figure out why is my deck having an issue. And normally, whenever I lay out my deck, I get a stack of, hey, here are my 0 diff foundations, and here's my stack of 2 diff, and I get to see those stats, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, well, UFS Ultra could have told me that. I didn't have to actually lay anything out. What's something UFS Ultra can't tell you? Well, the text on my cards. What is it doing what is it doing in the deck?
So that's why
when I take and I look at Ovipositor, that's an aggro card. I'm going to put it in this pile. When I take and I look at the add this card to momentum, add another card to momentum, that's a game plan card because my game plan with my character rando is this. But at the same time, in a Skull Barrier deck, that's a defensive card because the whole point of that card, so laying out your character and then putting these into these piles is going to help you understand what your deck is missing and what it's not. That's all I'm trying to say.
So
I get that your character is part of that.
Yeah,
and that's I can't rip my character up before the tournament starts and play my deck. I can't do that. I have to take this into account, which it changes what reduction is. Reduction is Nutcracker in your Goro deck was almost exclusively a defensive card. It was just, I picked this up and I had Breaker 2.
Never touch it.
And that's not how you play Nutcracker. That's just not how you but that's how you played Nutcracker.
I don't want the Nutcracker in there.
Now we're talking about. And so whenever you lay out your Goro deck, when I would take that singular Nutcracker and definitely put it into the aggro pile because it's a fucking 4-low for 12 for no goddamn reason, you're going to take that same card and put it in your defensive pile because it's all based on how you play it.
The trash pile.
I'm going to stop talking to you. Do you agree with what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
And so I just had this really big revelation of that, and I wanted a way to tell them without just staring in the camera for 5 minutes and being like, look how fucking cool I am. And 2, to see if my 3 teammates agreed or could make this idea stronger or better.
I'm 100% on board with you.
I like the idea.
You even
I just
changed
want
my
to
mind
expand
about
it more.
reduction.
Hell yeah.
Reduction is not a game plan card.
Yeah, it is.
It's a combo starter.
So
I think that card's incredibly aggressive.
Combo starter is not game plan. It's aggro.
No, other than us disagreeing on the roles of cards, I think that this is
Yeah,
definitely
this is a very good idea.
A very
Tam,
good
the problem
idea.
you're having with Rando is your combo starters don't do anything by themselves. Yeah.
Okay, what's a combo starter? Can you give me a different? So we've used Rando 1,000 times.
Yeah.
That's a deck I'm playing,
Yeah.
right? So ready?
Sure.
This is gonna be disgusting.
'Kay.
You ready? In Jeddah, I would if I had to pick one of my 4 categories.
Okay.
Where do you think I would put Spirit Gun?
Aggro.
Game plan.
Game
Yep.
plan.
I'd put aggro.
Because my game plan is to fucking debuild you. My game plan is to say you don't have any fucking
But if
foundations.
your game plan's
I don't
that
give a shit.
if your game plan's doing that, then that card doing that is aggro. It's following your game plan to a T. It's not supporting your game plan. It's defining your game plan.
But
It's defining your game.
so we don't have game plan or disruption at all. That's just not. Those just aren't categories. So
So
now
you're
good
looking at it
people,
as-
we've dropped it down to 2 categories. That's
No.
what it is. It's aggro or defense. Just fucking split your deck in half. There's no
Because, like, if you look at Rando, we were talking about
every card is ending the dream.
You're
Pop
talking
this
about
shit 4
hiding-
damage. Fuck you.
we're talking about hiding in plain sight, where that's get 2. That's a game
I
plan.
cannot remember that card.
That's a game plan card because it gives
Fuck
you 2
no,
momentum.
it's not.
And you just
under
said
the,
it was.
under the all symbol, it gives you 2 momentum to multiple out. It's obviously not a game plan card.
Right,
It's an
right,
aggro
right.
card because I have multiple and powerful and EX in my deck. Fuck.
I'm saying it gives you the momentum to use for your Rando, and that's you're supporting the game plan.
Totally. But Rando says +1/+1 has to be aggro.
Right.
Rando's aggro, yes. The card is not. It supports your game plan.
Right, which is
Spirit
aggro.
Gun does not support your game plan.
Mike.
It is your game plan. Your game plan is to debuild and
It
slow
sounds
your
like that's a
opponent.
game plan.
That
card.
does sound
No.
like it does sound like
That's
you just
aggro.
said though.
If you're doing what your deck's supposed to do, that's aggro.
No,
if your
no.
deck is built to debuild your
hold
opponent
up, hold up,
and
hold up,
slow
hold up,
them
hold up, hold up,
completely
hold up,
down,
hold up.
you're doing
we'll let
it.
him stop.
You're doing the game plan. The game plan is this. Doing it is aggro. Supporting it is not.
So
a card that supports your game plan would be the Zero Death Foundation. It discards an momentum to give you the ability to Jetta and debuild them again. That's a game plan card.
So
It's
is,
not an
No,
aggro
it's
card.
aggressive
is Stone Man.
because it
It
goes to
supports. It doesn't do the job.
It supports for the game plan
What was the game plan for your Jetta deck?
to debuild them.
Sure. So then if the card's doing the ability,
Yeah.
it's aggro. If
But
it's supporting the
aggro's-
ability, it's game plan.
I would say the aggro card inside of my deck is Detta Delamento. That's the aggro card.
I actually don't. I think that's in its own category because your game plan isn't to actually kill somebody. You said your game plan was to debuild your opponent
Correct.
till you win. Meaning Dita del Dolmento is a defensive card.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. You just don't get it. I
I
don't
get it. I get where you're at. You're not getting where I'm at.
okay,
You're
so-
fucking insane.
So
That's
I
why
don't
we're not getting where you're
I
at.
don't
You're wrong.
I don't understand how you can say that my 3 mid for 9 with multiple 2 is a defensive card.
I'm saying it's a defensive card because it doesn't do your game plan. Your game plan
So, all right,
has
now
nothing to
hold
do
up.
with that 3 mid for 9.
This Stone Man deck we were talking about that is 80% defense. Its game plan is to be defensive.
Can I-
Does that make it defense aggro?
No, because then the defense.
Because that's what you're saying.
That's
No,
its game
And if
plan.
if you're doing the game plan, then it's aggressive. But if
So
the game
here's the
plan is
thing.
to be
Can I-
defensive,
If it's
then the
aggro and
defensive
defense,
is-
if it's aggro and defense, aggro supports your game plan. Defense supports your game plan as well.
Sure.
They're both game
Sure, sure.
plans. So if your entire
sounds like it's all
plan
game
is
plan.
defense,
It's all game plan.
everything's
Take the whole
defense.
60 cards, put it in game plan.
I'm planning on winning.
Why am
Can
I
I-
on podcast anymore?
We're about to end it. We've got another one we got to record tonight. Can I just go over the categories one more time
Sure.
and you really listen to like what
I
they
listen
mean?
to all of them.
All right. Aggro is how you kill motherfuckers. It's almost exclusively the damage.
That is your
stat.
list. I was saying I don't agree with the list. I agree with the idea.
Okay, cool.
Is that
All right.
one better? Is
Sure.
that better?
I will agree
to disagree.
You crazy fuck.
You just throw us into the shit James says.
Oh my god. Well, I appreciate that I have 2 sane co-hosts.
Cool. You finish this podcast by yourself.
See you, idiot. Thank you very much for watching this podcast. I would love to know if you're in the camp of you should maybe split your deck into 4 or just throw your whole deck in a game plan. Just call it good.
While you're down in the comments, make sure you tell us your game plan.
Yeah, I would love to know your game plan.
And by that, it's a deck list.
Yeah. Duh. Fuck. so funny. Thank you very much for watching the podcast. If you like the content, please go to patreon.com or the other social media websites I mentioned at the very tip top. Big shout outs once again to our sponsors, Cards Custom Build and Inc. Gaming. You got the codes in the midsection. And from all of us here at TCGU,
Hey, check out our TCG player.
stay
Good things.
learned.
Get learned.
Been learned. I guess I'll say
Bye.
it.
I
See you
forgot.
guys. James, you're so fucking dumb. I hate you.